Yes, yes. Welcome, friends. It's Balloon Party, driven by Mungan Burkhardt, St. Louis Acura, Mungan Burkhardt, Alden Toyota, Mungan St. Louis Acura. Jackson, I misstated it. Can I have it back? Maybe it's because I'm staring at your hair. My God, it is thick and lush.
Thank you.
And it's got things going on too.
Yeah, things are happening. I really wish that our camera here on the airlines team cameras here were on the other side, because my left side is my good side.
Watch this is my good side. But that's because my skull's like concave.
Right. So just like your skull is concaved.
What do you have going on?
I part my hair going towards the left.
Oh, yeah, you're always wanting to go to the south?
That's right. That's always. And so the other side, the brake side, it kind of looks weird. Like it's a weird look. But this side, like when we do QFTA.
Right.
Which we'll be doing today.
That's correct. YouTube.com/TMASTL.
The camera is to my left. So if you look at both, like still images from both, you would think I'm two different people.
Is that right? Well, I got the same thing going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but your head is probably symmetrical, is it not?
I haven't heard otherwise, but I haven't gone buzz cut in 15, 20 years.
All right. Why don't you get a flat top?
Like Howie Long.
Right.
Are those still in? People still wearing flat top? I guess Howie Long is, so why not?
It's working.
Yeah, high and tight, flat top. That'd be a good look.
Yeah, would you like to see Jackson in a flat top next week here on Balloon Party? Text in your answer, 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line. Then you can also participate in the YouTube chat, where 82 people were waiting for us when we started this program. And by the time we get going, and I mean this Little Piddles Friday six-shooter gets going, 150. It's going to double. They'll be in there and they'll be talking it over. And they become like their own little club in that YouTube chat, Jackson.
It is. It's like a party.
Yeah, it's the 101 ESPN YouTube chat. So go on in there. As Jackson referenced, the studio cameras are brought to you by the Air Alliance team. A lot to talk about because we have the Little Piddles Friday six-shooter. I'm also in the mood to go deep diving. All it takes is one text or a YouTube comment. And the next thing you know, your Venmo has $35 directly from me.
Easy as that.
Imagine being able to show all the ladies at Napoli, I got a Venmo from a guy doing a 1-hour midday show, and he sent $35. I'm upside down, I'll be honest with you. But you know what? It leads to my synapses firing, and you can't put a price on that.
You can't put a dollar.
I don't know. I don't even know where would we go deep diving. I'm open to it. I'll tell stories. I'll tell tales. Tall tales? No, not tall tales. Truthful tales, because this is honesty in media.
Indeed. That's kind of the fun of a deep dive, is it can go any which direction, whether it's extremely relevant to what's going on in sports at this very moment or not. That's the fun parts of the deep dive.
Yeah, so come on in. The water is warm on that. Jackson, you have this Friday six-shooter, and it's called the Little Piddles Friday six-shooter. And I'm intrigued to see, you got to go with the Blues and Canucks. You got to, right?
Yep.
There's the lead. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Burkett and his thick, luscious locks.
The Blue Note with a very strong showing, taking down one of the best teams in the West and only allowing one goal. Do games like this, given the context of the season, underscore their wild inconsistency? If they can beat a team like Vancouver, why do they struggle a few nights later with lesser teams?
Well, that's the nature of the beast, Jackson. They're 6-3 now under Drew Bannister. And I'm a fan of the Curbside podcast. Listen to it every morning following a game. And I was listening to Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale break it down. Also, they have Steve Ott on there regularly. I guess that's for home games. And Vitale was pointing out, he goes, if you really look at the games, and I like to look at, what I am? I'm a trust the process guy. Mm-hmm. The game against the Avalanche that they lost last Friday, good performance. But gave up a goal late and weren't able to get at least 1 point out of it. And it's not like they played terribly against Pittsburgh, but it was certainly a different caliber of game. His point being is that the record actually could be better than it is, and furthermore, of the 6 wins, 3 have been comeback wins, whereas under Berube this year, the Blues would get in a hole and they couldn't get out of it, much less what you made reference to, which is the inconsistent performances. So a couple of things stand out to me about yesterday. Number one, they beat a great team, a team that really schooled them earlier on in the year. Number two, Jordan Binnington bouncing back after giving up the early goal. Number three, the Blues only allowing Vancouver 26 shots. And then number four, but perhaps it's the biggest topic, is the day Robert Thomas had with being an all-star in addition to his performance in the game and being the number one star. And the fact that the Blues are finding this young player who they have invested in delivering results and return. And running parallel to that, I think he was the game's third star. Binnington was two, Colton Parayko. And his ability here as of late to keep the top lines of the opposition in check. And yeah, he's not going to be scoring a bunch of points, but relative to what he has been, the criticism he has certainly gotten, and I think it's justified. I don't think it's unjustified. It's just he's playing better this year. He is becoming a real force out there. Not offensive force per se, even though he was represented there last night, but in shutting down opposition's top line. So, all I want out of this year is some kind of hope that, hey, when April rolls around, the Blues might be playing, because there's nothing like Stanley Cup playoff hockey. And when you beat a team like Vancouver, especially in the midst of a stretch here when you're going to be playing some of the top opposition in the NHL, that's super encouraging. Also of note, Jake Neighbors was all over the place, didn't lead to any goals, but what were you saying when we were talking about the game, when we were going over the film? You said, oh, it looks like Neighbors is buzzing the tower, eh?
Yeah, buzzing the tower. Just the way that he can put the cow pie in the hay barn. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here.
I feel like if you would have said that with a little more conviction, as opposed to like if I started to try to read my Latin textbooks from years gone by, people might have bought it.
You know what I did see yesterday? Is Jimmy Snuggerud's clapper from damn near the blue line.
Look at this.
In the World Juniors. I was lucky enough
What was going on with you? Were you held hostage?
Right. Well, I was lucky enough to gallivant my way into the 101 sports office.
And Marshy Marsh and the Playful Posse and Jamie Rivers were in there.
They were. Gary Davis was in there, Anthony Stelter, just hanging out, just bunch of guys, bunch of hockey guys, chopping it up. And up on the television set was the game. And like the 3 seconds I looked up, Jimmy Snuggerud nailed that was an awesome shot. Top shelf bar Mexico is what they say. And his father's celebration was great, real old school dad celebration. So yeah, so that is.
So you're bullish on the Blues' younger players now because you made a little visit back there to talk it over with your father, Jamie Rivers.
That's right, Papa. And
that's what you call him.
Yeah,
you say afternoon, Papa.
Yeah, Papa. That's right, bingo, like I'm Oliver Twist. And I guess obviously not there, but in the sense of between him, and by him I mean Snuggerud.
You talking about Fievel from Oliver Twist?
Dalibor Dvorsky?
I would have stuck with it and then not started challenging yourself. Again, if you can bluff at the pot with conviction, you might get the guy to lay it down. But when you start... When the chips start shaking as you throw them out in the pot, I'm going, I've got 7 high, but this guy's going to fold if I come over the top.
But isn't that the ultimate meta play where you look nervous?
Oh, so you're giving off false tells? You're on the 3rd level over there?
That's right. It's 3D chess over here, Tim.
But yet you still mispronounced his name when you went back for it. Why?
Well,
5th level.
Commitment.
God.
You got to commit to it, baby. Yeah, you're always got to keep everyone on their toes. I'm not Teddy KGB with the most obvious tell in poker history.
The Oreo.
Well, what else would he be doing with it? Either way, between those two gentlemen, you got to be a little... And Nate Neighbors, who's a young guy himself.
Nate Neighbors, his brother.
Nate and Jake.
But here's the thing on the Nate Neighbors play. You didn't go Jake. You said Nate Neighbors and you kept going.
I truthfully thought I said Jake. Maybe I have Nate on the mind.
Who's Nate? Robinson.
Good fight against Jake Paul. You got to be excited about the young core. How could you not be? You see that? Well, if you're not driving, don't text and drive or don't look at your phone while you're driving.
Good counsel.
If you're at home, take a look at Snuggerud's goal yesterday. That was filthy. Ooh.
Look at you.
There's not much in hockey that gets me like...
Did Jamie Rivers turn to you and go, what'd you think of that goal there, Piddles?
No, which I thought was a mistake.
To get your
I think he should lean on me. I've given him some little hockey nuggets.
Yeah, I feel like when I've been at some Blues games and I'm looking over there and he's between the two benches, I feel like I see you sometimes.
I'm texting with him, and he's trying to get some counsel from me because I know so much about the sport, despite watching 3 seconds total of hockey yesterday.
Gosh, no. So that means you watched the juniors in the afternoon, probably only because you went back to the 101 office. But last night, the Blues were on. They were playing, as you made reference to, one of the top teams in the West.
Oh, yeah.
There's Star Wars characters all over the building.
What more could you want?
But you didn't watch.
No.
What were you watching?
I mean, come on, man. This is the first opportunity we got to see Wembanyama versus Giannis.
Oh, no.
Well, here's my logic on this, and I think people might be responsive to this.
Oh, they'll be responsive.
Wemby and Giannis only get to match up with each other twice a year. There are 81 other Blues games I can watch, and they're only going to have their first matchup once. So I'm not going to miss a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I was rewarded handsomely. That was a fantastic basketball game.
But do you feel a moral or ethical obligation to the listeners of this program to come in and be able to talk about the local professional hockey team whose games air right here on this station, as opposed to a distant lawns NBA game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and the answer, to be short and sweet about it, is no.
My God, that's Jamie Rivers music.
But because I refuse to deny myself happiness. Huh. If an opportunity presents myself where I can be happy, and I know I can be happy, I'm going to do all that I can to be happy.
Oh
and
my gosh, that's selfless.
And I truly loved watching that game last night. I was texting with my dad. It was great vibes, So, no, I have no regrets whatsoever.
No apologies to her right here.
No, absolutely
no apologies.
Not. Absolutely not. And if you thought Snugger's, goal was sick, you should watch Wemby's block on Giannis. That's big boy stuff right there.
Let's see. I'm heading into this 101 ESPN text inbox. The number is 314-399-9646. I just looked across the 101 ESPN studios. I noticed, Jackson, you turned away from it like there was an eclipse starting up.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I took the unders on Piddles watching 5 seconds of hockey yesterday. That's from the 714.
Yeah, your account's been credited.
You enjoy a good non sequitur in our text inbox?
Drive-by takes.
The clowns after this show never talk MLS. So BK and Ferrario and Tanner just took a shot about MLS out of nowhere. But you know what? There it is.
Absolutely out of nowhere.
You being on the radio denies me happiness every day, Piddles. That's from my guy, the Grape Ape Auto Detailing.
Well, I never said it was altruistic by any means. I'm not trying to give happiness. I'm taking, baby.
The only time I want to see Wembley and Giannis is when I play Scrabble.
Wow. How could I go up against that comedic level right there?
What the hell, Piddles, are you trading on us? What's up with you watching hockey? Had to been bored or nothing else was on TV? It's from the 314.
I watched it because it was on in the sports office for, like I said, like 3 seconds. But it was great timing. Maybe even like a message from above that I got to see that goal. Because now I'm high on Snuggerud, which is the most adorable name in hockey. Jimmy Snuggerud.
Yeah, we got to get him on, and you ought to tell him how adorable his name is.
It is. It's what a darling.
Book Snuggerud.
All right. Anyone have his number? Rock? I don't even know if that is Rock back there. You see long hair.
A ghost?
I don't know.
Is it Good Morning Grant?
I don't know. I think it's Rock. I don't know. It's kind of shaded. You can't really see. Oh, it's Rock. Oh, no, it's Grant. That's a guy. Now that's someone.
No, what does that mean?
Well, he can give me Snuggerud's number.
So you're making it sound like the producer of the Morning Drive program in St. Louis, Missouri, couldn't get the number, but there's Good Morning Grant, and you're like, well, he can get the number. Rocchio can't. That's how I took to mean.
If I had to venture a guess, I would tell you that Matt Rocchio, like me, was watching Giannis versus Wemby last night.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I'm wrong.
He might retain counsel now.
Maybe he has multiple screens and he had both on. But knowing Rock and knowing what was going on last night, I would think he would be more interested in that. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Rocchio takes a shot.
Maybe I don't know.
All right, you can give your thoughts. Many of you are choosing to do so. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. I'm looking for a deep dive.
Yeah.
I really am.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go diving today. What can we get? $35 to your Venmo in the YouTube chat or in the Air Comfort Service text line. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. This is Balloon Party. Driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota on 101 ESPN. Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, presenting sponsor of Balloon Party on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Yes, indeed. It's the place I do business with. That's online. It's stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. And that Jamie Burkhardt was texting both of us this morning, Jackson. Turns out they have all kinds of new vehicle inventory on their lot. So if you are in the market for a new vehicle, just go to stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com and check out what the wonderful people at Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota have to offer you. You can go shopping from your phone, and then you can check it out in person and work with the best. And I can't say enough good things about Jamie Burkhardt, Clayton Patterson, Peter Munganess, and Ryan Seiberg in the service department, and everybody at Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Online at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. Welcome back, Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you for 1 hour of what has been called by critics around the globe, radio excellence.
Couldn't be described as anything else, Tim.
Thank you. Felt like you were a little quick there on uptake. We're in the middle of this Little Piddles Friday six-shooter. There were some good suggestions, I have to say. I don't know if they're $35 caliber deep dive requests, though. In both the text inbox and in the YouTube chat. More so in the text inbox. You can text yours in. I mean, I just send out $35, and somebody asked if the Venmo is light. It is. I don't know what I was talking about. Somebody said because of your fiduciary responsibility on betting on a game. I don't know what it was that I was a fiduciary responsibility on.
Probably was it the Bama -6 thing, and once it was going towards overtime.
Bama minus
against Michigan.
I was getting to on that.
No, I know, but live betting it because the only way that they could...
I didn't bet. I didn't bet that.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. I almost did. It's good. That's an astute observation on your point, or on your part, and if that's where the texter's coming from. No, I did not wind up betting it, but I really was.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, there's no way Michigan's going 75 yards.
Right.
And guess what? They went 75 yards. Jackson, question 2 of the Little Piddles Friday 6-shooter, and I'll go back into the text inbox for a deep dive, perhaps for the second half of today's balloon party on 101 ESPN. Yes, sir.
Ken Rosenthal mentioned that the Cardinals are interested in making a move for Dylan Cease, along with the Dodgers somehow.
What do you mean somehow? You're talking about the Dodgers just adding?
They just keep signing They just keep signing right-handed pitchers like left and right. It's crazy. Would this be a move that you could see the Cardinals actually making? And we talked about the offseason grade being around a C. What would it be if they made a move for Dylan Cease?
I would enjoy that. He's 28 years old.
2 more years of control.
So that would make sense. My big thing this offseason was don't get yourself in a spot where you're overpaying for somebody who is not going to be able to come remotely close to generating the value for the expense. And I believe they have done that in the back end of their contract. That, like, the only one I can really hold up as a clear example to me anyway is Aaron Nola. And so far, now Snell and Montgomery are still out there. They haven't done that. So with that said, he's 28. Different set of circumstances because he's got 2 more years under control. So I would absolutely welcome that. And I think for many Cardinal fans who right now would consider themselves super down on the franchise's offseason, that if they were to bring in Cease, that opinion would immediately change.
Yeah, because it not only improves the starting rotation, which we all know has been the biggest headline of the offseason, but that would probably move Steven Matz into the bullpen where he did have success last year, and you can turn a contract that's bordering on albatross into possibly something that's worth considerably more if he's effective out of the bullpen.
So if that were to happen now, I mean, I read Rosenthal's column on The Athletic about it. It's certainly not saying that the Cardinals it's saying the Cardinals still have interest despite spending $98 million on Lynn Gibson and Gray, and then also that the Dodgers still have interest despite spending more than $1 billion on their haul so far this offseason. But a lot of the focus is more on what's going to happen in the American League East, in particular with the Red Sox and the Yankees, because in Boston they haven't done anything.
No.
At least relative to what the expectations are of fans of the Red Sox. So that's the thing, man. You're talking about a handful of these starters left out there, and there's still a bunch of teams whose fan bases feel like their teams haven't done remotely close to enough.
Cubs.
And that would be one of them, but more so I feel like in the American League. And then just in general, when you see what the Dodgers have done, I think some teams might be going, I don't even know if it's...
Right, that's the thing.
But you do. I mean, listen, how great would it be? We've seen the Cardinals and Dodgers play quite a bit. How many times have the Cardinals and Dodgers played in the postseason, Jackson? I'm going to do the math off the top of my head. Because
like ever?
Yep.
Including like the Brooklyn Dodgers?
They were both in the National League.
Oh, yeah, that makes... Well... There was,
Right.
8 times.
I've got 5.
Okay.
I'm doing this off the top of my head.
I know the most recent would have been 2014.
That's correct, Matt Adams. They're going wild in the Mound City.
09 before that. Did they do 13? 13, 09, yeah. And then after that, I know they didn't do it in 06, and that's when
04.
Okay, yeah, that's before my sports knowledge begins.
I was out in Los Angeles for that. And Jose Lima shut them down in Game 3, but the Cardinals wrapped it up in 4. And then the teams went out there and shook hands, like NHL teams do following a playoff series, which was the idea of Canadian Larry Walker. Fun facts for no one tell. Sometimes I have them, sometimes I don't. And then before then, Jackson, go crazy, folks.
Yeah.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
5. That's what I've got. Now, maybe I'll go into the text inbox, and if I'm wrong, I have a feeling somebody would tell me.
Yeah, I was definitely
right.
In the 80s. There have been a couple of situations where they would have played.
So with that all said, how great would it be to have the Cardinals, kind of the David versus the Dodgers, the Goliath, in an NLCS? How wonderful would that be?
6, 2021.
Ah, yeah, I guess you got to count that. Yeah, because I'm thinking a series. But I think I'm going to yield to you. I'll say 6. I'll count that. And the Cardinals have only scored runs, though, in 5 playoff appearances.
God, you remember that day. God, that was brutal.
I mean, it's Dodgers and Braves and
certainly.
Phillies. and then we have a drop-off. What are the World Series odds
That's
right
a good
now?
question. I would think that the Cardinals are probably...
I would guess the Cardinals are like 10th to win the World Series.
I was going to go somewhere between 10 and 15.
Well, I mean, it's kind of giving yourself a nice wide berth.
Well, it's Wide Berth Friday, baby.
Is that right?
Well, now it is. I'm pulling it up right now, Tim.
I can tell you're buying time. I've been around the block. Dodgers are plus 375. Braves plus 700. Yankees plus 800. Astros plus 1,000. Phillies plus 1,100. Rangers plus 1,100. Blue Jays plus 1,400. Orioles plus 1,600, Rays plus 2,000, Mariners plus 2,200. Still no sign of the Cardinals as we go through 10. Now we're on 11, and the Cubs are plus 2,400. The Mets are plus 2,400. Twins plus 2,500, Giants plus 2,800, Red Sox plus 3,300, Padres plus 3,300, and then we get to the Cardinals, also plus 3,300.
Now, I would love to... Well, Steve Cohen's a different animal, but... both the Padres and Mets coming up.
The Cubs are the favorite to win the Central.
That's surprising.
Plus 185.
That surprises
Cardinals
me.
plus 200. Brewers plus 400. Reds plus 425. Pirates plus 2,500. What are they doing? Can they just get relegated? I mean, I guess it's nice. It's like having Vanderbilt around.
It's like a bye week. Yeah, it's so weird how and such a great ballpark in a city that loves sports.
I mean, the A's are plus 15,000 to win the AL West. So it's quite an advantage to be in these certain divisions. White Sox are plus 3,500 to win the American League Central. Nationals, I mean, at least they won a World Series here 5 years ago, but they're plus 8,000. And the Rockies are kind of a Vanderbilt. They're plus 15,000.
The Cardinals,
plus 15,000.
quadruple A team. Just give all their best players in history. Even though Todd Helton...
And money.
Todd Helton might be a Hall of Famer.
Would you like Nolan Arenado and money? I mean, yeah. We'll give you Nolan Arenado and money. We just want Austin Gomber. Okay, we're going to talk it over and get back to you.
You don't want to tip your hand or anything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's there's a couple of quadruple A teams still playing. I don't know. The Pirates being 2,500 is crazy to win probably the worst division in baseball. Maybe the AL Central rivals it.
I would say AL Central.
Yeah, certainly one of the two worst divisions.
But the Centrals are having their issues.
Yeah, maybe that's a contributing factor in the grade that people would give in the C. Because if no one else in your division's doing much...
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why I thought once the Cubs spent a bunch of money on council that they would be super active this offseason. And again, there are some big names still out there. But, is it enough to make you go, oh, my God, the Cubs are up there with the Dodgers, Braves, Phillies. I don't think people would feel that way, but maybe I'm missing the mark. So anyway, National League pennant, Dodgers plus 220, Braves plus 350, Phillies plus 550, and then a precipitous drop as made reference to, but now I have the numbers for you. Then it goes to Mets, Diamondbacks, Padres, Cubs, and then Cardinals. Cardinals are plus 1,500.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, the idea that baseball is slowly but surely turning into the English Premier League where 6, 7 teams have a real chance of winning because they spend the most money, and the rest of the teams are just kind of playing for the middle of the pack.
This might be too abstract, but I know that this show plays more like an NPR show.
Yeah, we got to talk a lot closer to the mics.
And whisper. It's more essentially ASMR. The Rockies are plus 15,000 to win the National League West. Okay. So that's all I need you to remember. This isn't going to be like David Blaine performing a trick here.
Yeah.
We're just going to one simple thing here. The Rockies are plus 15,000 to win the National League West, which is a division of 5 baseball teams, most of which are on the West Coast. And then you have Denver. However, when you include all the other teams in the National League, they're plus 10,000 to win the National League pennant.
Wow. So I guess that's like saying...
This, for the record, is off of Bovada. That is what I am reading.
So I guess they're thinking you could snag a wild card spot and make a run, because that's the only way that would make sense.
I mean, just as a point of reference, the Cardinals are plus 200 to win the National League Central. They're plus 1,500, 7.5x to win the National League.
Yeah. I guess it's just because the Dodgers are so heavily favored to win the NL West that
they're minus 350.
Yeah, boy, minus
Braves are minus 250 to win the East.
That's crazy before the season starts to be that favored to win the division.
Diamondbacks at plus 650 might be worth throwing a little taste on. I'm not telling people what to do with their money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you might want to
Shohei
throw a
isn't
little
pitching
taste.
tonight this year. He's not pitching this
I'm
year.
just telling you. All right, we'll take a break. We have more of the Little Pills Friday six-shooter. Plus, I'm going into the text inbox. Maybe there's a deep dive where I'm shelling out $35 to somebody's Venmo for a second half of Balloon Party Deep Dive topic. This is Balloon Party driven by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues win last night over the Vancouver Canucks. Final score of 2-1. The Blues will take on the Hurricanes tomorrow night. You can catch that game right here at the home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 5 p.m. and the puck drops at 6 p.m. And last night, the battle between Giannis and Wemby ended with the Bucks winning 125-121. The aforementioned Giannis Antetokounmpo with 44 points and 14 rebounds. That was another Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back. This is Balloon Party 101 ESPN. I got to tell you something. Let me tell you this. You like when I say, let me tell you this. It's more of a QFTA thing. QFTA coming up, youtube.com/TMASTL. Me and Jackson are doing it every day to date. The hell? I have my golf glove in my pocket.
Oh, wow.
What a weird thing.
Yeah. Have you not worn those pants since?
I don't know why. No, I haven't. I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wear it like Michael Jackson. Wow, Tim's really feeling himself when he does Balloon Party. He wears a glove like Michael Jackson.
Radio gloves.
If you're watching on YouTube, what a treat.
Driving F1.
Let me tell you, so we're going to do QFTA, which is basically non-sports. And we've been doing it every day so far this year. So today it'll be 4 out of 4.
Yep.
I got a couple meetings right after this show, so it won't be exactly at 11:15. Some days I have sound stories. Randy Carragher's got one at 2 o'clock today. He's going to stick around here at 2 o'clock. Look at Randy Carragher. But anyway, we'll do it at some point. Tim McKernan Show podcast feed. Subscribe to that and enjoy it. What I was about to say to you, Jackson, and the wonderful people listening to this program, which is presented to you by Munganess St. Louis Acura and Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota, is we got a hell of a lot of deep dives. I mean, the people ratcheted their game up. I could, like, if we were doing the podcast right now, I could probably do 3 hours with the caliber of questions that came in. The one I have chosen is one you recommended, even though there were a bunch that I liked. And I did text the guy, because we can text back on the 101 ESPN text inbox. And here it is. And I said, big fan. What's your Venmo? So 314-326, respond. But here you go. Deep dive. What is the best or most organizational altering offseason of a St. Louis sports team in your memory?
Really good one. Really good one.
Now, here is, for those of you who are a little older than me, and therefore a lot older than Jackson, you might be able to think of something in the 60s or 70s, and perhaps even the 80s, to bring everybody to the table.
So odd, but I like it a lot.
Yeah. Why does Tim wear a glove when he does Balloon Party?
Watch Orlovsky do it next.
I need some diamond studs on my white golf club. And my lack of hair to go up on fire while I'm doing a Munganess read. We're going to start, let's go 95 on. And I'm changing things for my own purposes. Usually I say 2000. Yep. But that's a tell on where my answer is going to be. But Jackson, we were going through these during the commercial break, and you were a big fan of this one. Zach, thank you very much, and thank you for responding, and thank you to both you and Piddles, sir. Love the show. God bless. Thank you. So I'll Venmo you here in a commercial break. I'm going to go with one that is obviously in the 1990s. Otherwise, I wouldn't have moved back my usual timeline of 2000. But you're going with the 2011 Cardinal offseason, and I said I'll take that all day because I was thinking going into 2011. Where you're coming from is post-2011.
Yep.
The floor is now yours. I yield my time to the gentleman from Ladue.
Well, organizational altering, maybe it doesn't fall into that category, but not.
So you're so way to dig in on this.
Well, memorable was one of the prerequisites there, and not signing Albert Pujols, which meant that you probably...
It wasn't memorable. I'm reading it. What is the best or most organizational altering offseason of a St. Louis sports team in your memory?
Well, I'm still going to go with it, and... It's because I have nothing else.
It's double down season.
Yeah. Well, you moved it back to 95.
I'm going to present two that I think you'll agree with in comparison.
Okay. Yeah, it's just because you don't sign Albert.
Albert Pujols, yeah.
And so you get to keep Yadi and Waino, and then you also get the reunion, and Albert hits 700 in a Cardinal uniform. I don't think that happens if they sign him to a 10-year deal following the 2011 season.
It's not everyone. Nobody would agree on everything, but Do you think 90% of St. Louis Cardinal fans, that's different than like baseball observers, of St. Louis Cardinal fans would agree with the move that the Cardinals made to not match the Angels' offer and allow him to leave at this point? Now, we're talking about the benefit of results-oriented.
Oh, yes, then yes.
You think 90%? See, sometimes I get the sense on 101, I don't know about on TMA, but on 101, that there are a good number of people who still are pissed that they let him leave or that he left. Take your pick, however you want to view it. To me, it was a no-brainer in the moment. I wrote a column about it in 2010 about how they can't sign him.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think that...
How they shouldn't sign him, I should say. I mean, they certainly could, but I didn't want them to.
Sure. I would think it's up over 80%. 8 out of 10 people would be like, yeah, it was the right move. I mean, when you look at the history, obviously he didn't like just fall off the face of the earth, but when you're having foot issues at his position...
Well, it's all about value.
Right.
It's like Doug this morning on TMA was talking about spending $8.50 for a soft drink last night at the Enterprise Center. And maybe we all enjoy a soft drink. Maybe all the time. Maybe now and again. Either way, I think few would say... Yes, that 16 ounces was worth $8.50.
Right.
Now, maybe you ball so hard, and if you do, I tip my cap. But I think even if you do ball hard, you wouldn't say, oh, $8.50 for a soft drink, that's value. So it comes down to how do you view something through the lens of value, and I don't think anybody would say that Albert Pujols gave the Angels value. That's just an assessment of math. Meanwhile, you've seen contracts, you go, oh my goodness, that's great value. Like the Blues defenseman right now, I think a lot of people go, boy, that's a little rough when it comes to value. My answer, I'm going to give you two. The 2018 offseason for the Blues.
Getting Ryan O'Reilly.
And it was just like a series of like 24, 48 hours where it went from angst to euphoria. And then the start of the season started off so poorly, hence the firing of Mike Yeo. So it was this roller coaster all the way up until then it just took off, starting in January in Gloria. And the one I'm going to use that may not be as popular now because of what has transpired, but I think the Rams going into 99 with Marshall Faulk, and really, even though it didn't wind up impacting that team, Trent Green, along with Torrey Holt.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm leaving somebody out on that team too, but maybe I'm not. I'm sure people will text in. Yeah, but there it is. People are agreeing with it, and I haven't even said it yet. Yeah, 2018-19 Blues and the 99. That to me, that's it. I don't know if the Cardinals had like a period of from 99 through 2002 in particular, because that's when they acquired Rowland, but that was a mid-season deal. They traded Bud Smith and Mike Timlin for Scott Rowland. And then 2000 when they acquired Edmonds right at the tail end of spring training for Kent Boddenfield and Adam Kennedy, and you say these things and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. They also brought in Darryl Kyle. They brought in Edgar Renteria. That was organizational shaping and set the tone for what was a dominant run in the National League Central for the Cardinals and that the battles with the Astros, but they didn't happen in one off season. It was a matter of
period.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals really benefited from the model that they still kind of utilize the Rockies for, which is team broke, contract coming up, and we're going to take advantage of that. And they did that, and I think it started really with Mark McGwire in the A's in 97, but McGwire didn't necessarily lead to postseason success, albeit he was with the Cardinals in 2000 and 2001. 99 Rams and Marshall Faulk alone, much less the Rams also going out and getting Trent Green. Of course, Green getting hurt, and that's not how it'll wind up playing out. I just remember Jack Snow, the late, great Jack Snow. Man, there's a guy. You're going to love that Jack Snow. It was just because it's like when Gabe tells the story of the 2007 Missouri team and how I think it was Lorenzo Williams walked up to him and saw his preseason prediction was like 8 wins or something, which was high for Missouri at the time. And he's like, man, we aren't going to lose. And I think then he played 11 games, maybe he played 12. He goes, but we aren't going to lose 3 games.
Yeah.
You know, that just didn't happen. And then they didn't. They lost 2, but one of them was the Big 12 championship. Same thing with the 99 Rams. Like the Rams were a punchline. Now I realize when they exited, they were a punchline, but they were an unproven punchline going into that season. And so it's kind of like when you would see like a Missouri guy in the 90s or 80s. How's Missouri football going to be? Ha, ha, ha. That's why fans used to throw oranges on the field satirically, because that means when Missouri scores their first touchdown of the year, they'll be going to the Orange Bowl, of course. Nobody really believing it. How are the Rams going to be? How bad is it going to be? And I remember Jack Snow telling my father, because my dad was the general sales manager at KFNS at the time, and Jack Snow was doing a show at KFNS. He goes, they are really good. This is going to be a really good football team. And I think my dad, he's just a Rams fan, but he would occasionally work with the wide receivers. Mm-hmm. And when you think about the wide receivers on that team, two of them are going to be in Canton when it's all said and done, whether Holt goes in now or in the next few years. He's been on the ballot for 5 years. But in addition, Azakim, in addition, Ricky Prohl.
Yeah.
And then they also, I don't know why I was doing this with my family, watching 99 Rams highlights over the Christmas break. They had a kick returner in Tony Horn who was a game changer. Now, the rules were different for the kickoffs then, but he ran a kickoff back against the Vikings in that playoff game. He did it against the 49ers in the big win there as well. So that was a facet, and he was a wide receiver, albeit not really used as a wide receiver. So they had so much depth there. And, of course, Falk absolutely caught passes for touchdowns. So that would be one. The non-link texted me, and he said, what about the 2004 Cardinals off-season? But I don't know what they did off-season-wise.
Add Walker, like going into 04?
That was like one of the only stories I've had some, but I just don't care to mess with them and break them. But I broke that one because I actually got to see his jersey. Or I was told by the Bat Boy that I just saw his jersey. I think this is how I had that story.
Nice.
So I'm like, I can feel good about this one. I'll go ahead and go with this one. Yeah. But that was in the middle of the season. That was actually after July 31st. So I don't know what they did going into 04 that was so big. Because Carpenter was acquired before the 03 season. And Woody Williams was already there. Morris was already there. Marquis maybe came over with Wainwright, perhaps. But, that wasn't like world-changing. And you already had Edmonds, Rowland, and Pujols in the middle. I guess Reggie Sanders.
At the moment.
I said Suppan, Marquis, King, and Womack.
Okay.
Yeah, that's solid. I'm going to put that below the 99 Rams and the 18-19 Blues.
Yeah, and especially for what you got Falk for, with a second and fifth round pick, and you get one of the best running backs of all time.
You look back on that. God, it's such a shame.
Yep.
Such a shame.
I wish I'm
going to go into a dark place. I'm going to go into the winter of my discontent now. And I paid $35 for it, too.
Yeah,
all right, we got a break. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Venmo's been sent to Zach Jackson.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Zach, for the question. Well
Thanks.
done. $35 for your efforts. We pay. We always pay our debts here on Balloon Party. And we also wear
I forgot you're still wearing that.
gloves. It's the Thriller album version of Balloon Party, the Thriller era. Welcome back, BK and Ferrario, live from Centene, coming up at 11 o'clock. Jackson and I will be live on YouTube, youtube.com/TMASTL at some point, possibly right around 11:15. I got a couple just a couple meetings, Jackson. It'll be fine.
I'm hanging out.
What do you got
Always.
going on this weekend? What's going on with you? What's a 25-year-old in St. Louis, the Roman Empire of the 21st century Americana, do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What period of the Roman Empire? Either way. Probably laying low for the most part.
Yeah, so cryptic, terrible answer.
Well, I'll be in Memphis, Tennessee next weekend.
What do you got going on there? You're going to Graceland.
Doubtful, but I'll be around there. My brother and I, every year, like to take a trip to a different NBA city and watch a couple games. So this year we're going to Memphis, they're playing the Clippers on the Friday night, and they're playing the New York Knicks on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. And then you're going to go over to Nashville and check out the Predators.
No, I don't think that's going to. I've been near Smashville, that stadium. They do it right with their stadium placement for both the Titans and the Predators, right there next to the Broadway strip thing there. Perfect. You roll right out, right into the bars. Super cool.
It is a glorious setup.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's how all stadiums, like, you need to have everything right there. It's perfect.
Well, I mean, it's chicken and egg. You got to have that kind of stretch. Not every city has that.
Well,
I mean, we have the Landing, and I'll put that up against anything. But
similar to my Rose Bowl thing, I don't care about the logistics. Just make it happen.
right,
Stat. I went to Ladue High School. I don't wait.
clip that off. That's a promo.
Yeah, so
Let's
probably.
see what I got. I got it. My son's got to skate today, tomorrow, and then 2 on Sunday.
Wow. Getting working.
And then I went to the range with both the 1-year-old and
really?
the 6-year-old yesterday.
Nice.
And they both wanted to go. I'm going,
Hell yeah.
what are we doing here? But if you want to do it.
Maybe that's why you have the golf glove in your pocket.
I know that is actually why.
Okay, got
Because it was
it.
sitting in my car, and I'm like, I don't want to forget it, so I'll put it in my pant. And then I thought, you know what, at 10:45, I'll wear it on 101 ESPN. That's what I shall do. All right, BK and Ferrario are coming up next. Thank you to all of the active listeners in the Air Comfort Service text line and the YouTube chat. Have a wonderful weekend. For Jackson Burkett, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel.